For decades, scientists have searched the stars, not just for planets or signals, but for something more elusive anomalies. These rare, unexplained phenomena that don't follow the usual laws of physics. It's those moments in the vast cosmos when something out of the ordinary occurs, when the universe seems to throw us a curveball, leaving us questioning everything we thought we knew. And now, the James Webb Space Telescope might have just uncovered one of the most bizarre anomalies ever discovered in modern astronomy. What began as a routine observation of the third interstellar object ever recorded in our solar system, 3 Atlas, has now turned into something far stranger, far darker, and infinitely more significant than anyone could have imagined. The data coming in from Webb has left scientists with more questions than answers, sparking heated debates and even causing a ripple of fear within the scientific community. Because what Webb detected deep in the cold, vast void beyond Mars wasn't just light, it was artificial light, something that should not have been there at all. Normally, when astronomers observe distant objects, they see light reflected from the surface of comets or asteroids, or perhaps the faint glow of gases and particles interacting with sunlight. But what Webb saw was different. The light coming from 3I Atlas didn't behave like anything we've seen before. It wasn't a simple reflection of sunlight, it was something that seemed to be coming from within the object itself, something that shouldn't be there, according to the rules of physics as we know them. This discovery immediately raised the stakes, triggering a chain of questions. What is 3I Atlas really? Is it just a comet or asteroid passing through our solar system, or is it something else entirely? Is it possible that we're dealing with something far more advanced, something that challenges everything we've assumed about the universe? For a while, 3I Atlas was treated as just another curiosity, another distant object in the endless sea of space. It was spotted as a faint speck on the edge of our solar system, moving with a trajectory no local object could follow. Its movement was so strange and erratic that astronomers quickly realized that this was no ordinary object. It was interstellar, meaning it came from outside our solar system, born beyond the gravitational pull of our sun, flung across the galaxy by forces that we cannot yet comprehend, and now silently drifting through our cosmic neighborhood. At first, 3I Atlas was treated as an intriguing but unimportant cosmic visitor, much like its predecessors Oumuamua and Borisov. However, even in the earliest images, something didn't feel quite right about it. Unlike most interstellar objects, 3I Atlas was unusually bright. Its brightness didn't match the estimates for its size and composition, and it shimmered with a strange, unnatural consistency. What was even more bizarre was the fact that its brightness didn't fade as expected as it moved through our solar system. Normally, comets and asteroids that pass near the sun will brighten for a short time as they interact with sunlight. But 3I Atlas remained steady, unnaturally so. It wasn't releasing any gases or dust, as comets typically do, and its behavior didn't fit any model we've seen in space. So, astronomers began to wonder, how could an object in deep space, so far from the sun, maintain such a steady brightness, with conventional explanations failing to account for the strange behavior of 3I Atlas? Scientists began to turn to more advanced tools to investigate. Telescopes across the world focused on it, and the James Webb Space Telescope, with its unmatched ability to observe in the infrared spectrum, was brought in to see what it could find. Webb's instruments revealed something that would change everything. It didn't just clarify the situation, it amplified the mystery to a point that even the most experienced astronomers could not explain. What Webb detected was a centralized thermal emission from 3I Atlas, one that didn't correlate with any known natural reflection of sunlight. Typically, comets shine due to sunlight reflecting off dust and ice. But what Webb observed was something very different. The heat signature wasn't just a reflection, it was emitted from within the object, radiating out from the core in a way that defied all natural explanation. The object seemed to be glowing with internal heat, which was not typical behavior for a comet or asteroid. And the more data Webb collected, the stranger it became. The thermal mapping revealed an unusual pattern that didn't follow the distribution curves of any known celestial body. It wasn't just a random scattering of light. It pulsed faintly and irregularly. Most unnervingly, it seemed to cycle at regular intervals. That rhythm, repeating ever so subtly, suggested that this wasn't randomness, it could be deliberate. This raised an even bigger question. What could be causing this strange emission of light? Was it the result of some cosmic anomaly? Or was it evidence of something far more deliberate, something we couldn't yet understand? Some scientists from NASA and the European Space Agency proposed several possible explanations: radioactive decay, subsurface friction, or even alien isotopes. However, as more data came in, those theories quickly fell apart, leaving one explanation standing. 3. I-Atlas might be powered, possibly even artificially. As the data continued to pour in from Webb, Hubble, and terrestrial observatories, astronomers began to piece together a profile of 3I-Atlas, and it looked nothing like any object we'd seen before. Its trajectory was too precise to be chaotic, almost as if it were intentionally choosing its path through space. It didn't just float through gravity wells, it seemed to subtly adjust its course. Its rotation was unusually stable, and the object's behavior didn't follow the typical inertial drift of comets or asteroids. But the strangest part came when they realized that 3I-Atlas didn't have a cometary tail, even when it passed near solar radiation. It seemed to be protected, as if wrapped in some sort of shell or casing, preventing it from interacting with the sun in the way we would expect. Then came the most shocking discovery of all. The albedo, or reflectivity, of 3I-Atlas's surface was measured to be almost perfect in certain areas. The reflection was so clear that it resembled polished metal, not rock, ice, or dust. This was no longer a question of a natural celestial object. It was something much more complex, possibly even artificial. The implications of this discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. If 3I-Atlas was made of metal, if it was emitting energy, then we were no longer dealing with a random object from deep space. We might be looking at a piece of technology. The idea that this could be an alien spacecraft was no longer a wild theory. It was now a possibility being discussed in research labs and institutional emails behind encrypted firewalls. Perhaps the most damning piece of evidence wasn't the thermal emissions or the trajectory or the strange metallic signature. It was the light. Photometric analysis showed something chilling. The light coming from 3I-Atlas was focused in a narrow spectrum band. In other words, it wasn't a broad natural reflection of sunlight, but a controlled emission of specific wavelengths. This is precisely what we do with LED arrays, laser communication systems, and spacecraft signal beacons. Furthermore, this band included frequencies often used in communication and guidance systems on Earth. Not only that, but the intensity of the light seemed to respond ever so slightly to solar radiation, as though some onboard system was adjusting it in real time. It flickered not at random, but with a strange intermittent pulse. Astronomers ran the data through known signal models. What they got was inconclusive, but not meaningless. Some claimed the pulses resembled binary sequences. Others said it might be a rotating power source. But the conclusion was undeniable. This was not a passive object. It was doing something deliberate, and we were watching it live. As the data poured in, a team of astrophysicists from MIT and Harvard ran a deep signal analysis over the electromagnetic emissions coming from 3I-Atlas. At first glance, the frequencies appear to be random noise scattered across the spectrum. But when they applied Fourier transforms to isolate cyclical patterns, something startling emerged. Buried beneath the chaos was a repeating pulse, too precise to be natural. It wasn't a standard binary, nor a typical modulation used in human technology. but it bore the unmistakable fingerprint of intentional encoding. Some speculated it could be a beacon, a repeating broadcast meant for receivers, not of earthly origin. Others theorized it could be telemetry, a constant data stream sent back to wherever this object came from. But whatever the message was, one thing became abundantly clear. 3I Atlas wasn't passive. It wasn't just floating through space, it was doing something. It was alive with activity, and we were witnessing it in real time. News of the discovery quickly spread through the highest levels of scientific and defense institutions. A confidential report circulated internally within NASA and soon leaked to an unnamed journalist revealed that top officials were already coordinating with global space agencies to determine if 3I Atlas posed a threat. Some scientists argued that it was a benign anomaly, perhaps an ancient probe, centuries old, on a pre-programmed journey through the stars. Others were less optimistic, raising questions that no one could answer. If it was transmitting, who was receiving it? If it had light emissions, did it also have propulsion? If it was here by design, why now? One unsettling possibility was raised. What if 3I Atlas wasn't just passing through, but observing and tracking planetary alignments, electromagnetic fields, or even advanced civilizations? This thought ignited panic behind the scenes. If 3I Atlas wasn't alone, then perhaps something else was on the way, something that sent it. Further investigation into the luminosity of 3I Atlas led to a revolutionary hypothesis. The object wasn't just emitting energy, it was harvesting it. The way the light output fluctuated with its proximity to the sun, combined with the lack of any chemical reactions, suggested that 3I Atlas might be using a solar collection array or photonic absorption system embedded beneath its surface. A group of theorists postulated that the surrounding dust clouds served a dual purpose, both as camouflage to mask its artificial structure and as a medium through which to absorb solar radiation. If true, this would mean that 3I Atlas is a self-sustaining craft, capable of traveling indefinitely through deep space, refueling itself as it moves from star to star. This concept aligns with theoretical models of interstellar probes, machines designed to remain dormant for centuries, only activating when they encounter a star system worth investigating. And if our solar system triggered that activation, then the message was received. As international space agencies scrambled for answers, one undeniable truth began to surface. We are not ready for this. Despite decades of speculation about extraterrestrial life, our systems, political, scientific, philosophical, are woefully unequipped to process what 3I Atlas might represent. No official statements were made, but leaks from agencies in France, Japan, and Brazil all hinted at similar conclusions. 3I Atlas might not just be an anomaly. It might be the first encounter in slow motion. Unlike the flashy depictions in Hollywood films, there was no sudden appearance in the sky, no landing, no immediate answers, only data, only light, and only silence. Webb continues to observe the object every day, but every answer it provides seems to raise two more questions. If this is contact, then it's contact on their terms, not ours. Quiet, distant, and unsettling. That may be the most terrifying aspect of it all. What if we are not being invited? What if we are being watched? What if we've already been seen? Then, just when astronomers believed 3I Atlas had settled into a predictable trajectory, something unexpected happened. Its luminosity spiked dramatically, nearly 40% in under 2 minutes. There was no gradual increase caused by its proximity to the sun. This was a sudden flare, confirmed by Webb and several ground-based observatories. The flare wasn't just visible, it carried with it a change in the object's thermal signature, almost as if systems had powered on. Theorists proposed a chilling possibility. 3I Atlas had entered an awakened phase, either triggered by our sun or possibly by our very observations. If this flare was intentional, it was meant to be seen. Shortly after the anomaly, orbital calculations detected something else. 3. I-Atlas was no longer following its projected path. It had subtly shifted its trajectory, veering slightly closer to Earth's orbit. This change was deliberate. Gravity alone couldn't account for it. The object had moved, and its new path suggested that it was no longer just passing through, it was adjusting its course. Some scientists dismissed it as a gravitational anomaly, but others saw it as a deliberate maneuver. If 3I Atlas was capable of propulsion or navigation, then we weren't just observing a relic, we were watching a vessel in motion. As the object passed within range of the Webb and Hubble telescopes, traces of highly reflective alloys and rare compounds were detected, including some materials never seen before in our periodic table. These weren't the kinds of materials one would find in a natural rock. They were engineered, synthesized, under conditions that don't exist naturally. This discovery hinted at one chilling conclusion. 3. I-Atlas wasn't just an ancient object, it might have been manufactured by a civilization far beyond our own. With this mounting evidence, one question stands clear. Is 3I Atlas just a probe, or is it part of something bigger? Stay tuned, because we are watching history unfold. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this cosmic mystery, because what happens next could change everything we thought we knew about the universe.